One watching and one thumbs up. All right. We're going to talk about antique fishing lures. Not antique, I would say vintage. This is a better word. I collect a specific brand of lure. It's called an LS sinker, and I'm not like a dedicated collector where I would, get online and buy what I'm missing. But every time I go to an antique mall or a junk store or a flea market, every time I see a tackle box in a pawn shop, I open it up. I look for one brand and one model of lure. And I think I have about nine of these. And, anyways, I found seven of them in one day at two different locations. So my antique LS sinker collection nearly doubled in two antique malls coming back from our little trip to the Spring River. So I wouldn't say I'm a collector of vintage fishing lures, but I do have a collection. And there's the man, I wish I didn't have all that reflective glare on there. I guess I can risk it. Oh yeah, yeah. Then I'll knock an entire thing of hooks out on me. Hey, this may make for a good video. Y'all stay tuned. I'm probably gonna snag myself. But anyways, let's do it this way. There's a collection that's a wooden cork that's fell over and some old hook tins and different things like that. Mainly river runts and various other, I wouldn't say like 100-year-old lures, but vintage is probably the right word. And I don't buy these as much as I've just acquired those through tackle boxes, trades, whatever. I was like, hey, that's an old river run or that's a whatever, and I've kept it. But I do collect one specific kind of lure, and that is the LS sinker. And it came in a number of different models. And I finally got a shadow box for them. They are all in this one box. Now, here I can put this up here and you can see it. They come from these very tiny ones, like you'd see right here, all the way up to the bigger Pike Master, which is right here. But they all essentially look the same. They are metal build. They all say LS sinker. There was some knockoffs. You'll find some that don't have any stamping on the end, which I'll show you that in a minute. But anyways, I just don't run across these very often. The story is when I was about 12, my dad came home with this big one right here that's probably in the nicest shape, and it was still in a cardboard box. I don't know what happened to the cardboard box. I was probably 10. I never used it. It was my only antique, lure, old lure. Then I ran across one and I was like, hey, that matches my other one, but smaller. So just started picking them up over the years. So, an entire lifetime of collecting, that's what I've came up with. I have five on the top and four on the bottom, and that's it. So I've got nine of those, and I'll be 47 next week. 47, I'll be 47 this week. Sunday, I'll be 47 Saturday. So, anyways, it's not like I see those everywhere. I guess that's what I'm trying to get across to you. So, when I was coming back from vacation, we were driving across northern Arkansas from Mammoth Spring, which is kind of on the eastern side of the state, right up against Missouri. And we drove on Highway 412, which connects the east and west on the northern part of the state. And on the way back, we stopped at just antique malls, junk stores. We hit some right around Mountain Home, Arkansas, driving into Mountain Home and driving out of Mountain Home, heading west. The first place I stopped at, I just could not believe my eyes. There was a booth there that was just rows and rows and rows and rows of lures. I mean, not just antique lures, but all kinds of lures. And they were cheap. And so I was like, man, I'm not going to pass these up. This just like, for example, these are Bobby Garland crappie jigs. The price there says $2.49. I think I paid 50 cents for these. Same here with these. I fish with these a lot for sand bass, 50 cents. I think I got some more plastics in here. I think these were 50 cents. Yeah, there's another package, 50 cents. These are all $2 and $3 a package stuff, but these are not old or vintage. These are lures that I actually use. So another lure that I actually use a lot, fishing the creeks and stuff, are these little Rapala Minas. I want to say I gave $2 for that one. Need a place to toss these over here. My desk is looking a little cluttered. So there's the three I want to show you. All right, let's look in here. I'll go through these quickly because these are not old. These were just good deals. All right. I'm buying these Rapala floating stick baits, and they're in great shape. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm buying these, great shape, nothing wrong with them, for $2. Yes, you heard me right, $2. These, if I were to buy them brand new today, would be $7 or $8, sometimes more, depending on the model. I bought lots of silver and gold, $2. I could have spent $100 in there, $2. So those are all little floating stick baits, which are great for smallmouth bass. Okay. Now you say, where was that at? That was at Remember When Mall, and the town is Mountain Home. There's all the information you need if you want to go there, but it's backwards. So figure that one out. Screenshot that. Get your decoder ring out and make that work. I got them all there, and they were $2. Yeah, here's another one. I mean, these are $7 or $8 a pop, and there's nothing wrong. The hooks are in great shape. I got them for $3. So I say all that to say I got these, the ones that I collect, in a bunch of colors. Actually, I've got 8 of these. I thought I had 7. I've got 8. Okay, that's better. So let's go through these lures that I got, and I didn't pay above $3.50 for any of these. In my box here of the ones I collected, I paid $15 for one of them, and I don't pay that much anymore unless they're in great condition. But in that box, unless someone gave it to me, I paid more than probably $5 for every one of them. Look at this little jewel. LS sinker, small model. Paid $3 for that, I think. $2.50 or $3. And it's in pretty good shape considering it was probably made in the 1950s. So anyways, that's the style I collect. As you look at these, you'll say, well, they all look the same. They're just different colors. And you're exactly right, because that's what I go after. I've got an orange toboggan laying here, and wouldn't you know, I stick one hook in it on the first one I pull out. Okay. I got to get organized here, Harold. All right, so there's the first one I got. I think I paid, most of these were around $3. Here's the next one. I think I have one of these already. But a red and white one, and it's missing its front hook. But that's okay. I've got a plan for that. The bill's a little smashed, but it does say LS sinker on the bottom. I don't think you can read the writing. But anyways, you can see it's not in near as good a shape, but I think I paid $2.50 for it. It's missing a hook. Oh, what I got here? Okay, here's another one. A little bit bigger model than those first two. This one needs some work as well, but there again, a little bit bigger size. Little oxidized, but I can wipe that off. It'll clean right up. That's an old waxy coating that was put on them. So you see it needs a hook in the front. Well, I got a plan for that because I've got a couple of old ones that are kind of nasty looking, but they got all their screws and they got all their hooks. This one here, pretty rough shape, but all the little screws down in there are still there, see? So I can swap the hooks off of this one into any of these, into this smaller one here. So I can rob the hook off of this one that's kind of ugly and put it in this one because they're the same model, you see. So 4 of those, one of them sacrificial. Let's call it a net of 3. Got it. All those were at the same store along with all that other stuff. That store I showed you the card for, there were thousands, and that's no exaggeration, thousands of fishing lures in there. $8, $9 plugs were running about $3. So I went to another store and the prices were roughly the same. This one has a $3. The first store took the tags off. This one still has a tag on it, $3. Pretty good shape. You might be able to read the bottom on this one, or at least see the writing on it. LS Sinker, then it'll tell you the model. Of course, it's probably backwards for you. Anyways, that's the same style that I'm collecting, and I never find them here. For me to find 8 of these in one day, when I've spent my entire life and I've got 9, and a couple of them were given to me by other people. Terry Dees gave me one that he had had since he was a kid. My dad gave me my first one. I really like this one because I've never seen this color before. I don't have this color. But look at there. There again, it's got the writing on the bottom. I found a lot of the knockoffs. The knockoffs will just say China in small letters or be blank here. But if you got an LS, that's what it'll look like. $3.50. There again. I paid as much as I think $15 for some of them that I got. So then I found some. These are newer ones, but they're in a case. And it says Miro Lure Company in it. Well, it's going to be backwards for you, but you can see the writing on there. And this one here, pretty ugly, but all the screws and everything are with it, so I can use it for salvage and put together some of those that are incomplete that happen to be the same size. So this is a newer case. I think I just stuck a lure in here to have it in there, but there again, $3 was the price tag on that one. And then my last one was kind of a gold color, pretty well faded, but same thing, come in the same case. But it's a color I don't have. Red eyes. So I know these are not in the best condition, and I know that, if you're a serious hardcore collector, you're probably looking for some old headings and creek chubs and everything else. But for me, these are the ones my dad started me on. That's the ones that I've just taken a liking to. I don't see them everywhere I go. And in 2 locations, I come home with 8. So I'm just tickled to death. And the next time I go through Mountain Home, I'm going to have a $100 bill in my back pocket, and I'm going to hit that booth up at that Remember When Mall, and this Remember When Mall, and I'm going to buy me $100 worth of fishing tackle because it would translate to about $300 worth of fishing tackle. Because I mean, these are not brand new, but there's nothing wrong with them either. On the rocks below a dam, it ain't uncommon to lose a bunch of these because if you're not bouncing your lead-headed jig on the rocks, you're not where the fish are. So if you're not hanging up ever so often and breaking off, you're not catching anything. So to be able to find shimmy, I call these shimmy shads, but these lures for $1 or 50 cents, That's perfect. Crappie jigs, 50 cents. That's cheap. To be able to find these Rapala floating menace for $3, nothing wrong with them. That's cheap. So I had a great haul. All right, I've done a lot of talking. Now let me hop over in the side chat and we'll catch up on some comments. So you've seen my lure collection. There again, now that you've seen all of those that I got, here's what I already had. And I did a cool old stuff video on these, and I went more into detail in them. But if you look, and I've cleaned these up and hung them up, and those will clean up a lot better than they look. But some of those are really, really rough looking, like this oxidized one here and this ugly one over here in the corner. But I just doubled the size of my collection. So, anyways, if you got questions about those, leave them there. If you want to see that, you could go to my YouTube channel, go down to the title or the playlist called Cool Old Stuff, and you would see a video in that playlist for LS Sinker fishing lures. So let me scroll back up and we'll start at the top and I'll run down through here. Lily Shearhart, good to have you this evening. I appreciate your dad well. I'm sure Lee Creek will miss him as well. Georgia Boys here, TNB TV. Long time no see. We've been working too much. Gonna binge watch your videos Thursday. Well, I've been busy too. I have been so busy, and it's fixing to be unbelievably busy because I'll be preaching out of town for 2 days. I'll be gone for 4. Be preaching in the Dallas, Texas area, well, just outside of Fort Worth, Monday and Tuesday of next week. Not this week, but next week. I believe that's the 11th and 12th. And I'll do some barbecue review videos down there. I hope to. Hope it works out. And then we've got a new pastor coming in to take over at Lee Creek where I was the pastor. I've got to help him. Got to get my books cleaned out of my office and moved into here, the house. I just got a bunch of stuff to do. I got some meetings, some appointments, some podcast. I understand busy. You don't need to apologize there. Cow Emporium is here. That's great. Good to see you guys. Glenn and Nettie, 6-shooter Texan, Cow Emporium. Arrowheads in a box like that. Well, there you go. That's pretty neat. Box is pretty cool too. Fitz Preacher Farm is here. Boomer Ranger Ron. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't see the lures south either. They may be bigger up north. I know that Mountain Home is near Lake Fork, or not Lake Fork, North Fork Lake. They have walleye there, stripers. I think they do a lot more trolling. That lure may be more useful there. Single Shot, thanks for stopping by. Good to have you with us. Yeah, Bobby Garland stuff. Like I said, that was an old price tag at $2.95, and to get them for 50 cents. I know I didn't pay $1 for those. So NRA for life. Thanks for coming by. Good to have you with us. If you guys have questions, just go ahead and get them keyed in the side chat. When I get caught up, we'll start answering them. Hang on to them, Wayne. All those old lures, you may think they're just junk, but until you look them up, you never know. You keep your collection of lures safely stashed on the bottom of a bunch of lake, river, and Pacific Ocean. That's pretty funny. Preacher has a price labeler. Yeah. I, I was shocked by the price. It never occurred to me to try to do something to lower it. Um, okay. I think I'm about caught up. So if you got a question about these lures or me, after this, we'll just kind of talk about some stuff I got going on. But thank you guys for showing up. Mine are all down there too. uh, don't you want a newer lure to catch fish? Those 1950 lures are dead by now. Yeah, I wouldn't fish with any of these. I don't want to fish with them. I just think it would look cool if when I'm an old man, if I live to be an old man, if I don't live to be an old man, who cares? I'll be in a better place. But if I live to be an old man, I think it would be cool to have a whole bunch of lures that are no longer made, that hadn't been made for years. They're all the same make. They're all the same. They're are all different models, but in the same line. So rather than having just a conglomerate of river runts and creek chubs and popars and lucky 13s and just having it all crammed together, I would like to just say no. I picked one lure. I looked for it. When I saw it, I picked it up, and that's what I've done. And like I said, I'll be 47 Saturday, and I've collected 9. um, I bought all those but the first one and the last one. Terry Dees gave me the last one. He said he bought it as a kid and fished with it, and it'd been in a junk drawer in his kitchen for years. And so, other than those 2, I've bought 7, and I've paid for some of the really nice ones, and there's some in there that are near new condition. I want to say I paid $15 to $20 for one time, but most of them were 7 or 8 bucks. I don't think I touched $4 for any of these 8 that I got here, and some of them are as nice as what I have in the case. So I'm really pleased. I don't want to fish with them. They're just sit on the desk and look cool. But I got a couple of these boxes. I got these at Hobby Lobby, these little shadow boxes you can open up. And I got these on sale. I think the price tag's still on the back. Yeah. Look at the bargain hunter that I am. Can you see that? 24.99 to get you in the middle. It'll probably focus on you. 24.99. It was priced reduced to $6.24. And I want to say frames were buy one get one free, so I might have got both of those for $6.24. I don't know. That was all they had, or I would have bought more because I've got some Civil War bullets and stuff that I need to put in there. Anyways, it's just for looks. It's just for show. Hey Eddie, thanks for coming by. Eddie Ragsdale, if you guys don't know him, he's the preacher that took me to the national chuck wagon races, the world championship and our national championship. I don't know. It's still the greatest show on dirt. Eddie introduced me to that. I'm hoping that Eddie and I go every year on that last Sunday of the races. That was the greatest event I think I've ever been to. Honest to goodness. And it may just been because Eddie and I were there together and we was having a good time. But if you've never been, Clinton, Arkansas, I think it's Labor Day weekend. Man, is it ever great. Um, anyways, yes, I understand that completely. Donna Howe, hit the like icon. Thank you. Yeah, I never ask for likes or shares or subscribes, but I figure if it's something you want to keep up with, you will. If it's something you appreciate, you'll like it. I don't like being told what to do, so I don't tell you guys what to do. Have you seen the YouTube channel called Retro Bassin? You might like it. He finds vintage fishing stuff all over. I probably would like it. I enjoy looking at it. I'm not going to spend any money on an old lure unless it's an LS sinker that I collect. But yeah, I mean, I'll go every time I go in an antique mall. If I see fishing equipment, whether it be poles, old rods and reels, I've got an old Herd Speedcaster rod. The rod is metal. It was originally an Abrams tank whip. I don't think it's an Abrams tank. It's some kind of a tank in World War II. They used the leftover antennas for fishing poles, and it's all metal, and it's really cool. I've got if you go under the cool old stuff um, uh, playlist, you can see that reel and rod, and you can see these lures if you want to know more about them. Jordan DeWitt, I had a bunch of antique lures given to me by an old man when I was a kid, left them all on the bank of bull shows. Oh, man. When I was about 10, I bet they did have a good day. You know what? This biggest LS sinker that I have, when my dad gave it to me, it was coated in wax and it has real glass eyes and it was in a cardboard box and it looked like you just lifted it off the shelf brand new. It was completely new. I don't know what happened to the box. I honestly don't know. Maybe if I outlive my parents and I get to clean out my bedroom, maybe it's stuck back in a crack in the closet, or it may still be in their home somewhere. They've lived in the same home since I was 7, but either way, um, I really wish I had the old. It wasn't a plastic box. These are the more modern, and when I say modern, we're probably talking 60s here, because they were in a clear plastic box that latched and it had tape across it. So it worked like this. When was the last time you bought fishing lures in a clear plastic box that you could transport them in one at a time? I mean, are they not all the plastic case sandwiched into the cardboard or glued to the cardboard? Even if they were in something like this, they would have had a hook on them to go in the pegboard. But these were probably designed to sit, on a shelf behind the glass case in a hardware store. So I don't know. I may comb it over and look and see if it's got a date on it. It might have a date right there. I brought my magnifying glass just in case. I think I'm looking at it upside down. Partial assembly in Costa Rica. The original Miro lure. I don't see anything else on it. I don't know as though Costa Rica is known for their quality, but there you go. So, anyways, yep, Labor Day weekend. So Eddie's right. I'm telling you guys, it's the greatest show I've ever seen. I'd always heard about it. I'd always wanted to go. When Eddie asked for me to preach for him that weekend, and then he told me what he was doing and that he was on vacation, I was like, man, I'd like to go do that. And I am so glad that I went. I'm so glad. It was the best thing I've ever seen. Do you have a sticker? No. And the reason I don't have a sticker is because I don't have a logo. And if I had a logo, I'd get stickers made and send them out. But it's hard to, I don't know. Maybe you guys could help me. Maybe this would be a live stream question one night. What would a good logo for Preacher's Day Off be? I thought about a pulpit with a out to lunch sign on it, or on vacation or something like that. But trying to cram that onto a sticker and figure out that it was a pulpit would be hard to figure out. So I don't know what I would do for a logo. Um, my channel's so broad between gardening and fishing and hunting and meat processing and cool old stuff and reloading and metal detecting and chickens and what would you put on there? A barbecue sandwich. Man, GB, that's awesome. That would be the perfect thing. A big old barbecue sandwich with barbecue sauce running off of it. Man, that's why we're friends. We think a lot alike. But you're smarter than me. You think of the stuff that I can't. So, anyways, well, what are we going to talk about? We've been going for nearly 30 minutes. I was going to tell you a little bit about my spring break. My wife and I going up to um, Spring River in Mammoth Spring, Arkansas. I did a video on the state park. I also did. I've got another trout fishing video where I about stepped on some snakes, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff happened. There were like 2 or 3 snakes under one rock. I think they were coming out of hibernation. It was starting to warm up, and anyways, I saw a great big one, but he was going away from me. And then I looked over and saw a little one. Then I could see part of another one that didn't look as big as the one that was in there already and was a lot bigger than the one I seen. I don't know. Anyways, I need to get that edited. I got one on the state park. I need to get edited, and I think that'll catch me up on all the videos I did there. I would love to see the Calgary Stampede. But I've seen a bunch of rodeos, even good rodeos. Calgary Stampede has some cool stuff at it, though. And they have chuck wagons and whatnot. But the National Chuck Wagon Race is really like redneck heaven. If you haven't seen the redneck video, if you haven't seen the chuck wagon race video, I don't. just go to my channel and type in Chuck Wagon in the search my channel bar and watch it. And the greatest thing is it's mules. It's all mules pulling them. And in the I guess like the open races, they throw firecrackers in the back of the wagon. So there's firecrackers going off. They're blowing air horns trying to make the mules run fast. There's just nothing. There's nothing like it. I can't describe it. It's indescribable. Yes, I have a video and ask for suggestions. Well, I will. I mean, if anybody has a suggestion for a logo for my channel, I think a barbecue sandwich is great. I think it would be recognizable, and I could slap it in the corner of all my barbecue review videos. Uh, that's okay. I don't have a sticker. I need substance on my channel. You're not the only person that's asked me for a sticker, and I just and the sad thing is I got a daughter that's a graphic design artist, so she could draw it and make it and print it, and she's good at that kind of stuff. She just doesn't have the desire to do it. College kind of burned her out on graphic design. But you do kind of have a thumbnail logo. I mean, I tried to create one and man, it just looks stupid. It looked like a third grader did it. It wasn't good. So about the state park, let me tell you a little bit about the state park and the Spring River. You'll see this in the video, but I want to tell you why it's cool. I always heard of the Spring River. I'd always heard of Mammoth Spring State Park, but I never knew what it was. I never really knew anything about what it was. But when we got there, I want to say it's the second largest freshwater spring in America, and it's in the top 10 of the largest freshwater springs in the world. So when you start thinking about places where fresh water runs out of the ground and you're in the top 10 worldwide, it's pretty big. So I was like, well, how much comes out of this? The lowest flow that it gets to is around 9 million gallons an hour. When we were there, it was around 12 million gallons an hour. So that's 12 million gallons an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when it gets real dry, it still flows at 9 million. And the interesting thing about it is the water temperature coming out of there is 58 degrees year round. So that's why they can stock trout in it. And I was excited because there's a national fish hatchery that borders the state park, and they have an aquarium there, and they raise sturgeon and all these other fish that try to replant across America. They raise them right there near the spring, and they were working on the railroad tracks that are in between the state park and the national fish hatchery, and you couldn't get in there. So there's a state fish hatchery downstream. State of Arkansas raises rainbow trout there, and you could go in and feed the trout, and there's thousands of them. I thought, man, I'm going to go do a video on the trout hatchery. Well, it was closed for renovation. They had backhoes in there, and they were tearing out all I guess, the big long tanks where they raise the trout, and were building new ones. So I didn't get to see any of the hatchery stuff from the national or the state hatchery. And I was kind of interested in that. But it's a great little town. There's a couple other small towns nearby. Got a lot of just trinket type shops. If you're there in the summer, junk stores, antique malls, that kind of thing. Um, there's probably the best fish house I've ever eaten at. It's called Fred's Fish House, and it's in Mammoth Spring. It's right there on the main drag. It's a great big building. They can handle a lot of people. They have a lot of staff. They know how to get you in, get you fed, get you seated. It's great service. They had walleye on the menu, and I got the walleye. They had a small catch, a small walleye fillet, and a large walleye fillet. The small was $10.99. The large was $13.99, and you could get all you can eat walleye, grilled or fried, for $17.99. I know better than to get all you can eat. 10 years ago, I'd get my money's worth. Now, whatever's on my plate, that's about all I can handle. So the first time I was there, I got the small order. The second time I was there, I got the large order. The small was like 3 fillets. The large was like 5. It comes with hush puppies, fries, beans, I don't know, coleslaw, all the other stuff. But my wife got the seafood platter. Man, it was great. Everything there was great. It was hot. It was fresh. I didn't eat anything I didn't like. It was reasonably priced. If you're near Thayer, Missouri, or Thayer, Missouri, I don't know. I'm not from Missouri. If I've mispronounced your town, sorry. I know 260 Remington's from there, but or you're near Hardy, Arkansas, you're near there. Go eat the fish, man. It is that good. It is real good. So all in all, we got a little Airbnb. I've never stayed at an Airbnb before, so that was really good for us. We ended up paying like $99 a night for a little house that we stayed at. It was normally more than that, but it wasn't rented that weekend, so they had marked it down or that week. And so we got it for $99 a night plus a cleaning fee and a service fee. It ended up being like with tax and all, it was like 110 a night to have a 2-bedroom house with a kitchen, washer and dryer, nice bathroom, full living room, carport. My wife made a good point. She said, staying in a house, if you need to get something out of the car, you just walk out the door and step in the carport and get it. If you're in a motel, you walk down the hall, get in the elevator, go down 3 floors, walk through the lobby, walk to the parking lot, get what you need out of your car, and you go through the whole process again. And when you're in small town America, good motels are really hard to find. So I got a feeling next time we're staying kind of out like that, uh, I'll be looking at Airbnb again because there were some other places there I was just a little slow getting to. I didn't look for a place until the week before we went. So that was good. All in all, we had a good trip. My only disappointment, it rained on us and it was cold. It was nasty cold and nasty rain for about 2 out of the 5 days. And other than that, the weather was fine. As far as the fishing goes, there's a couple of good places to fish off the bank. Um, but most of that river is private. Most of the places you have access to, it's just not, it's either too swift or too mossy. There's too many weeds. You can't effectively fish for trout except for one little area. And so if I was going to go back, I would get a boat or I would float it. I would do something like that. Um, and I didn't catch any big trout. I never caught like a 2 pound trout. Everything I caught was like a 10 to 12 inch stalker. And then I caught some real little ones too, like 5, 6 inches. But everything I kept was 10 to 12 inches, which that's what you want to keep. But I'm always fishing, even when I'm catching eaters. I still want to hang on to that big trout one time, and have a big fight, even if I don't keep it. I just don't think there's really big trout in there, or at least where we were able to fish from the bank with the equipment we had, we never found any. Nor did I see anybody catching any. So everybody had stringers, had exactly what we had on them. So anyways, I don't regret going. I would probably go back. I probably will go back. Um, but it'd probably be a couple of years. I want to go back to the White River and trout fish, and I want to go back to the Little Red River and trout fish. And I haven't been there in years, and I really like fishing there. Hey Dan, thanks for stopping by. I agree, Dan. It was Eddie took me to the chuck wagon races, and it was a great time. And the video didn't do it justice because I was just enjoying being at the chuck wagon races, and I don't know. It was good. I'm really fired up about going back. We would like that kind of spring. I bet you would. I bet you would in Alberta. But I would love to have the kind of hunting you guys have and fishing you guys have in Alberta. I've hunted in Saskatchewan and I've fished in Ontario and bear hunted in Ontario and I've duck hunted in Saskatchewan, but Alberta's where it's at. That's got the mixture of waterfowl and hunting and fishing and yeah, You guys live in a very beautiful part of the country. So, anyways, we've been going about 40 minutes. I'm not going to go a full hour. So, if you got a question, you got a comment, you want to know something about the lures we've been looking at, or you want to know something about vacation, or maybe you got a video idea that I should do in the future. I planted seeds yesterday. We planted two 48 count trays. So I guess we planted 96 plants yesterday, and we pretty much just planted what we needed. And we didn't go crazy this year. We've still got okra stuff. We'll direct sow in the ground, purple hulls, green beans, all those type of peas. We'll direct plant, but um, tomatoes, squash, peppers, gourds. We planted, I think, 8 pots of gourds. So all that kind of stuff. Um, all that kind of stuff we got planted yesterday. So I didn't do a video on it. It's boring watching people poke holes with a pencil and drop seeds in them. But anyways, we should have some gardening videos coming up. I looked at my garden yesterday while we were doing that. I've got radishes coming up. All the onions we planted are doing great. I don't have anything else really poking through. We planted carrots. Some of them are just starting to sprout, but there's really nothing going on there. I would love to go fishing. I'm really craving crappie. And I know where to catch them, and I know they're ready to be caught. I just don't have the time to go get them. I've got I've got too much going on. My entire April just looks covered up, and it's just going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those months. I've just got too many things planned. But I plan on dragging the camera along. Like I said, when I preach in Texas, I would like to at least get 2 barbecue review videos during those 4 days I'll be in Texas. I don't know if that'll work out right, but I hope to do that. I would love to fish in Quebec as well. I bet that is amazing. I was 16, I think, when I bear hunted and fished in Ontario. We fished on a place called Eagle Lake, and I want to say it's about an hour and a half north of International Falls. But we had a great time there, and I caught tons of fish. Never saw a bear. Saw moose. Had a moose literally 2 feet from me, and they're big, but when there's one 2 foot from you, they're absolutely huge. And I was just praying to the good Lord that she didn't want to go 2 feet behind me because I'd have been in trouble. Um, Check out Cowboy Kent Rollins' channel. I think you will enjoy his cooking content. He's a real chuck wagon cook. Yes, I have. I'm familiar with Kent Rollins. He does a great job. He plays that little part well. And he's a legit good cook. A lot of guys on YouTube, that food may look good, but it don't taste good. Kent Rollins has been on some of them food contests, and he's beat guys like Bobby Flay in taste tests and in preparation. So, yeah, I agree with you. Kent Rollins is a good channel. Yeah, I enjoy that. That's another thing. I need to do some more cooking videos. I was given at church today. I was given some wild morel mushrooms. I would like to fry those tomorrow, and I may try to video that fried morel mushrooms. I've never had them before. Everybody rants and raves about how great they are. I've looked for them, never found them. I was telling some people at church that I'd never found them, never eaten them, and lo and behold, they show up at church and say, "I got you something. I got a whole bowl of morel mushrooms, soaking in salt water." So they're going to go in a skillet tomorrow, and that'll be that. I would really like to video that. I think it would be something worthwhile. So, well, guys, that's all I got. We're pushing 45 minutes. I'll go ahead and sign out of here. Thanks for tuning in. I was just excited about finding 8 lures when all my life I've only amassed a collection of 9. To find 8 in one day at 2 stops was just amazing to me. And If you guys are anywhere around Mountain Home, there is a ton of antique malls around there. And I found the prices to be very competitive. I found the selections to be great. I saw more good antique booths. I mean, interesting stuff than I've ever been anywhere else. And the prices were reasonable. So I would encourage you, if you're a junk hunter and antique mall hitter from about Harrison to the other side of Mountain Home, there's a stretch right there, probably take you 45 minutes to cross it. There's just a ton. Start right there at the corner of 65 and 412, just south of Harrison, and work your way all the way across to Mountain Home. You could spend a day hitting junk malls and antique stores and probably never see it all. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Uncle Jim, old one guy, Georgia Boy, Wayne, Dan, Cow Emporium, Fitz Preacher. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. This is what makes YouTube fun, being able to interact with the people that watch your channel, and not just putting out videos, but hearing from you, following yours. Bisley Blackhawk, thank you. Tin Man, thank you. Now, Tin Man, you're done. But we're going to sign it up, sign off and seal it up. You can watch it. Well, you really didn't miss nothing. We just talked about old fishing lures. Anyways, it's Sunday. I've been up since 5 o'clock and I've been busy all day. So good night. God bless y'all. We'll see you on the next video.